Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to my Untitled Pick series. I'm your host, Tim, and this is episode 3. This week, we'll be looking at picks for UFC 248, taking place Saturday, March 7th in Las Vegas, Nevada. Before we get into that, let's take a look at our picks from last week's event. That was UFC on ESPN 27, Benavidez versus Figueiredo, aka Fight Night Norfolk, which took place last Saturday, February 29th in Norfolk, Virginia. Once again, we did really well. Going back to 2 weeks ago, I picked 9 out of 12 correctly, which really should have been 10 out of 12 as I forgot to switch Michael O to Jimmy Crute on Tapology. And I was able to pick 6 perfect for that card. This week I came in 10 out of 12 again, which could have been 11 out of 12, as I actually switched on to Spike Carlisle as a dog. But I also forgot to switch it up before picks locked on Tapology. For that card, I got 4 perfect, and I could have gotten 6 potentially, as I also got Megan Anderson and Grant Dawson's method of victory correct, but I picked the wrong round. So I came in with only 1 out of the original 3 dog picks that I did being correct. I got Cachoeira right, but I was incorrect with Loma Lukbume and Emil Meek going back 2 weeks ago. This week, I came in with guesses of Sean Brady and Brandon Allen as dog picks, with a quick mention of Spike Carlisle, although Carlisle wasn't an official pick. I predicted that Brady would be able to catch Ishmael's kicks, take him down, and wear him out, and that's exactly what happened minus Brady catching the kick. Brady took Narduev down over and over again, controlling him in rounds 2 and 3 to win a decision. So while I did mention Spike Carlisle, I did end up going with Brendan Allen as the honorable mention dog pick. But both did come through with first round finishes. So that brings us to 3 out of 5 for 60% correct on dog picks. Let's hope that we can keep the momentum going into this week. I came into this week 2 out of 2, 100% correct on official lock picks. Starting the year with Turner and Kenan Song finishes, I was able to continue my perfect streak with picks of Spencer via round 1 submission. She actually got a TKO via ground and pound. And Dawson, who I guess would win at minimum by decision, but thought he could get a second and third round sub via rear naked choke, which he was actually able to lock in round number 2. So that brought us to 4 out of 4 on official lock picks for 100% rate. Let's see, on to the main event picks. I started the year 1 of 1, 100%, by picking Dan Hooker by decision. Sadly, I was not able to continue my perfect streak, picking in main events this year with an incorrect pick of Joseph Benavidez. I guess Joe would win via decision or late round stoppage, but he was actually knocked down round number 2 after a clash of heads, and it has since been announced that they will run it back. So I'm sitting at 1 out of 2, that's good for 50% on main event picks going into UFC 248. Now on to UFC 248, which features 2 title bouts, with both the male middleweight belt and the female strawweight belt on the line. Adesanya will be making his first defense against Yoel Romero, and Weili Zhang will be making her first defense against Joanna and Jędrzejczyk. Let's start with the co-main. I got to go with Zhang here. I think that she'll be able to get the finish as well. Joanna has really fallen off. I understand that she had a lot of personal issues going on, and she seems to be moving past that, and it looks like she's in a much better place overall now. But I think that Zhang is just too strong. Look for Zhang to bully and pressure Joanna early and probably get the finish. Joanna does have a path to victory if she can stay out of range and pick Zhang off as she tries to close the gap, but she'll have to be on her best for 5 rounds straight, and I just don't see that happening here. I'm going Zhang by KO TKO at round number 3. On to the main event. I definitely have to go Israel Adesanya here, and I say it's very likely that if he wins, it will be via decision. Yoel has only lost via decision since his tenure in the UFC began, and he's just gone up against a murderer's row of opponents. Yoel has the ability to spark anyone at any time, and while I didn't think Joanna would be able to keep Zhang off her for the full 5 rounds, I do think that Adesanya has the skills here to outpoint Yoel en route to decision. So the pick here is Adesanya via decision. I just want to shout this out. If you do play Draftkings MMA lineups, then a stack here in the main event is definitely in play. At only 7,000 budget, Yoel has scored 78 points in a 3-round decision loss to Costa and 91 points in a 5-round decision loss to Whitaker. On the locks of the card, first lock for me is definitely going to be Sean O'Malley. I know that he's been off. He's had some trouble with USADA, but he's also put on about 10 pounds of muscle, and it sounds like he's really been able to add more tools to his game during this time off. I don't think that Jose Quiñones has anything for O'Malley here, and I'm picking O'Malley via KO, TKO in round number 1 or 2. Honorable mention lock of the card is going to have to be the Olympian, Mark Madsen. Not a ton to say here. Madsen's a silver medalist in the Olympics, comes from a great wrestling pedigree, and while I think Hubbard is a tough customer, I see Madsen taking him down with ease and forcing the ref to step in with some vicious ground and pound in round number 1. Moving on to the dog of the card, not a ton of dogs were standing out to me. The lines were all looking pretty good in my opinion. I did mention Yoel as a dog for the main event picks, and if you're playing Draftkings, I'll say again that he's definitely viable. I think Magny could be a good dog pick, potentially. Drakkar Close against Dariush, maybe Canetti. I think that he is a better MMA practitioner all around than Dana Batgarel. But at 40 years old against a tough opponent, I just can't pull the trigger on him. So I'm going with Max Griffin as the dog of the card. Alex Oliveira could definitely catch Griffin in a quick submission after a poor takedown attempt, but I'm leaning towards Griffin being able to edge this one out. He has a tendency to be in really close fights either way, but I do think that he'll get the nod if he can make it to the decision. If you're playing DK, Griffin could also reach value even in a loss. For honorable mention dog pick, I think it's a bit of a risky pick, but I'm going with Magny. As previously mentioned, Magny got knocked out by Ponzinibbio in his last fight, although it was in round 4, and he had a kind of a brief USADA suspension. I think it was 4 months long, but it did take him off a May 2019 fight against Vicente Luque, and he's been out of action for almost 16 months now. Magny seems to think that this actually ended up being beneficial, and it maybe wasn't a bad idea coming off that knockout loss. I'm a bit worried about Jingliang's power and size, but I do think Magny has the tools to be able to eke out a decision here. The main concern for me is that Magny ends up getting starched in round 3 after winning a majority of the fight. So yeah, thanks for coming back, guys. I realize I don't have my camera up yet, but that is coming soon. I continue to try to work on the production value of these, and most importantly, just provide you guys good picks. I really try to keep it like pretty short and sweet, clear and concise and to the point. I find a lot of these MMA shows, they just go on, and sometimes that can be beneficial, but oftentimes they just don't get to the point. So yeah, just keep checking in. I'll keep trying to do my best. I do try to watch footage on all these fights that I end up making picks for. It kind of sucks, trying to get these videos out as early as possible, because I oftentimes haven't finished doing all my research, and then after doing my research, I'll be on a couple more people that I potentially could have mentioned, but the video's up, so it is what it is. But yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in again. Check back next week. I wish you guys all the best on your bets and your DK lineups, and I'll see you guys soon. Thanks so much.